So they're sort of paralleling the surface winds and the front, Steph. That means that in general, we're going to see wind as the main threat. We've got thunderstorms right now coming into Memphis. This guy has put down almost a ½ inch of rain, 0.4, as this came on through. So dropping rain, a lot of lightning out there in the sky this morning, pretty loud for you to wake up in the Memphis area. But that's sort of a lone ranger of storms. Look at all this across the Gulf Coast. Again this morning, we've got all this moisture pooled right in with the stationary boundary right here. So thunderstorms in New Orleans, in Mobile, in Pensacola, the beaches all across this area from Orange Beach over towards Destin and Panama City. We've got the thunderstorms right through the day. It's off and on, and it doesn't really clear out until this evening. So you guys are going to have a tough day to get outside there. But look at the forecast tomorrow. It's the same areas. You are not catching a break if this is your week at the beach. You're hoping to escape, you know, all the crowds now that the kids are back at school, but instead you got the rain that is crowding you. By Sunday, we are going to see more moisture returning. We actually can blame or thank, if you want the rain, a front that's coming down across the plains. So that will bring up the moisture then by Sunday back into the Mississippi Valley. Memphis, another chance of storms by then. Jackson, Birmingham, Atlanta all have rain chances coming your way on Sunday. But by far the biggest rain totals are going to be along the Gulf Coast. That's just where we have the most days in a row of rain, and the most moisture, honestly, is where you'll find some of the biggest rain. All right, let's see what else is happening. Steph, how about those tropics? Below average and sunny works out for you there. I mean, you got the sunshine. It looks great. Now, let's talk about this upper level low, which is keeping us cool across the upper Midwest here. I love when these maps have multiple uses. Our graphics team loves it, right? Because one map creates a lot of stories. But let's talk about the upper level low and what it's going to mean for the weather around the Great Lakes. In the fall, we start talking lake effect snow when we get these upper level lows, cool air aloft, moving over the warm lakes. Are we talking snow? No, it's not that cold. It's not even close. But with cooler air over warmer lake water temperatures, we will get some lake enhanced rain. And so that will happen today over Lake Michigan and just downwind of it. So you watch the wind direction, watch where it's moving over the lakes today. Water temperatures are running above average in the 70s, actually, down across lower parts of Lake Michigan. When that happens and you get the cooler air aloft, it just creates these instability showers and it helps enhance the rainfall. So you may see some streamers of rain coming in today. The clouds actually too, even if it doesn't rain out. You'll watch that over Lake Michigan today and then into tonight and tomorrow over Lake Huron and Lake Erie. And the other thing that could happen is we could get some water spouts out here. That's also something that is associated with these cold upper level lows. Today, Lake Michigan, tomorrow, Erie, Ontario, and Huron. All right, Reynolds, what else is happening in the... All right, I love it. Got to cool off some way. All right, especially with these temperatures. Still running a little bit cooler than yesterday, but still above average. So 92 in Seattle, 96 in Portland, 104 in Medford. It's still hot. It's still not what we're used to. You know, we don't have a lot of air conditioning up here. It's only about a third of the households. So that's going to be an issue. We're also, of course, going to make sure we look at safety. Our scorching car scale shows you how quickly the inside of your car heats up. Seattle, an outside air temperature of 92. In 30 minutes, the inside is 126. And that, of course, is very dangerous. Medford is even worse with the outside air hotter. Steph. So let's talk about what's happening as we look at the tropics. This is August and where storms have originated. We've seen them happen in the Gulf of Mexico, in the Western Caribbean, in the Western Atlantic, and of course in the Eastern Atlantic, in that main development region. And that's where our eyes are going today. We've got two circles in the Atlantic. The specific thing, Invest 91E, it is likely to develop, but it's not going to be of interest to land. But let's look at these things because they may be. First stop is this tropical wave that has come off the coast of Africa. This goes back to the last 2 days, and you see the moisture coming in. Actually, I think the wave itself helped moisten up the atmosphere out ahead of it. So we are looking at plenty of moisture. The dry air is off to the north, so that's not a problem. The shear, that's always a question, right? Is there too much shear for something to develop? Well, there is some shear off to the south, and right now we do have a broad circulation. Thunderstorms aren't exactly co-located with that circulation, but all the other things are just right. Water temperatures are there. They're actually running above average. We're in the mid-80s. The shear, the environment that it's in, is going to actually lessen. So we've got a really good environment for something to develop. Now, the American model takes this and actually does develop it and strengthen it into the next week. And so this is the position of it next Wednesday here, still away from land and actually moving a bit north and curving off to the north. The European model has it a bit weaker, but nonetheless shows signs of it anyway. And because it's weaker, has it further south with potential impacts to the islands. It's something to watch. The Atlantic is now open for business. I would say what we had earlier was sort of the preseason. Now we're in the season, right? And we are going to be watching for development. 80% chance that this thing will get a name. It could be Franklin or it could be Gert, because we have something else to watch as well. This guy, Invest 90L. This one just increased this morning to a 60% chance of developing within the next 5 days. In the short term, it's bringing some rain to the ABC Islands right here, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. And was looking at some comments out of Bonaire this morning, and they're calling it blissful rain. They don't get a lot of rain, so that's not so bad. What could be tougher to take is what happens to it when it gets into the Bay of Campeche. Does it develop? Does it strengthen? How much so? And you look at, of course, first impacts with the Yucatan, and then into the Bay of Campeche in the Gulf of Mexico. The GFS model has it further south, the European farther north. Either way, it looks like some rain here into either Mexico or possibly South Texas by next week. We'll keep an eye on this one.